Dragons flying in the sky, raining terror down on me, raining terror down on you. Evil wizards on the rise, raining terror down on me, raining terror down on you. Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna fight? Yemo's full of rage, now freed from his cage. A hero and a sage, he's the druid for our age. Then there's Humble, but full of wanderlust. He's always on the run, looking for that next rush. And Frankie, you should never cry, for at any cost she's never lost. That's why she's the boss. Then there's Carrot Kisses, she artifices and never misses with her wishes. That's right, Humble. So Charybdis, be reminded that they're coming out for you. Yeah, they're coming out for you. So Charybdis, be reminded that they're coming out for you. Yeah, they're coming out for you. Charybdis, be reminded. Charybdis, be reminded. That they're coming out for you.
Hello! Welcome back to Dragon's Jaw. We haven't done this already. This is episode 2 of our Prime Universe. You would have seen episode 1 of our Darkest Timeline last night, and you would have seen episode 1 of our main story last week. So, as last week it was all very cinematic, I did all the intros for everyone. I thought this week we would introduce everyone properly, so everyone has a chance to say who they are, the name of their character's race, class, and alignment, maybe even subclass as well, and then we'll go into the game. So let's start alphabetical by name of character with Carrie and Chloe. So Chloe, tell us about your character in those briefest terms.
Yes, hello, I'm Chloe, and I'm playing Carrie, aka Carrot Kisses, who is a centaur, a battlesmith artificer, and is chaotic neutral and just wants to know everything.
Yes. Which is a very formidable, attribute to have, I'd say, to be honest, to learn.
Yeah,
everything.
I think she'll get into a lot of trouble.
Well, exactly. That's so fun in D&D, so that's good. Next up then, Chris. Who's your character?
Hello. Evening. Hi. Yep, I'm Chris. I'm playing the fabulous Frankie Flight, who goes by the she/her pronouns. Frankie is a Arcana rogue?
Arcane Trickster rogue.
Arcane Trickster, that's it. Sorry, Arcane Trickster. Oh, I know my character inside out, obviously. Arcane Trickster, who is chaotic evil and may or may not want to take over the world if the opportunity arises.
Again, another formidable attribute to have as a character.
Yes.
Will, your character then.
Hi, I'm Will. I use he/him pronouns, as does my character Gigi, who is a Githzerai Circle of Twilight druid. My first time playing a druid. And Gigi's little edge thing, I guess, if we're doing these, is that he's basically a reverse evangelist, which is possibly the most dangerous of all so far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, got a formidable attribute to have, I'd say. Maybe.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least, Luke. Luke, who are you playing?
We've had this conversation before, and I am absolutely least. You know it. Luke, hello. Oh, that's it. I've got to go for the simple
No,
votes,
it's just because you're definitely the most, and therefore I put you last to make everyone else feel better. How about that?
Yeah. All right.
Too far.
We'll just straight that one. No, there was too much of a pause there, I'm afraid.
Too much of me thinking about something nice to say about you.
Hello, everybody. My name's Luke. I play the halfling bard from the College of Valor, I believe, by the name of Hummeltoe. If you can just picture a very small David Bowie, that's him. He's lawful neutral. He tries to follow the law and does what the right thing, but really, morally, he doesn't really care about the outcome. He just wants to adventure. He just wants to see everything. He wants to experience as much as he can and tell the tale.
That's fantastic.
See, all I can picture now is a very small David Bowie.
No, it's David Bowie, mate.
It's David Bowie, mate, so don't worry about it. It's Zowie Bowie, it's not Zoe Bowie. Anyway.
Zoe Bowie.
Oh dear. Never get an argument with Hamilton.
I'm the
to be
DM,
fair-
I rule. And on that point, I am the DM. I'm Hamilton. I am the Dragon Master, as I call him on this show.
Yeah.
And that's me. And I say it's Bowie, even though that's not right. And I know everyone knows it's not right, but that's fine. I can't.
I say Bowie.
It's Bowie. I mean, right, okay, we're going a bit of a sidetrack here,
Yeah.
but I heard that it is supposed to be Bowie, but he changed it to Bowie.
Right.
Like the pronunciation. I heard that from someone. It's probably not true.
From my mate. My mate
Yeah.
down the
My
pub.
mate
told me
down the
this.
pub. Yeah.
We'll just go for the great north-south divide.
Yeah, let's not
Oh
start
yeah.
that.
Which I think is just you versus the world, Chris,
That's-
isn't it?
as that's every northerner's mentality.
Yeah,
All right.
tracks.
The question is right? Is it jam
Oh, God.
then cream,
Oh,
or is it
Oh.
cream then
Cream
jam?
and jam. Cream and jam.
That's very
This-
specific Southwest argument.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very much.
The-
When you get down where I live, it gets very heated when you talk that. But it's cream and jam. We know it is. So let's not.
now this is making me wish for some sort of apocalyptic end of the world event. Am I right?
Am I talking of apocalyptic world events? Well done. Thank you very much for that, Will.
Will is the king of the segue.
Take inspiration for that segue. Right,
Brilliant.
so I will do a brief recap of last episode. And then we'll get into our show. So last week, upon the peak of White Plume Mountain, where our story began many years ago on this show, where we started with our adventurers took flight into White Plume Mountain to even the first time we ever found Caraptus. Our four warriors here met the real Caraptus again at the ultimate battle to end his terrible reign over the plains. Fighting atop his ancestral lair, they had battled for some time, and we joined them in the sort of final round of this battle, where Caraptus had lain waste to a few of you with quite a heavy meteor storm. You were all feeling very low on health. Guillermo had been knocked prone by this. You sort of had cuts, bruises, you were feeling that blood pumping in your ears, you were feeling the tears of skin as you were sort of moving about. It's just the sort of, you felt this was your moment, your final chance to sort of end this big bad evil guy. So in that final round, Carrie started with Finger of Death. Good spell, good hard hitting spell. That's what you use. That's your, that's when you bring out the big guns at the last battle. However, Caraptus, using what seemed to be his final legendary resistance, shrugged it off, let it go. Frankie, hiding in the shadow, as they do so well, Caraptus could not even find them with their dragon sight, unable to see them. Sneak attack straight into an open wound in Caraptus' side, causing quite a bit of damage. Guillermo rose up from his prone position to try and enfeeble their mind. However, Caraptus, with such a high intelligence, was able, with their mental fortitude, to stop this from occurring and sort of shake off this psychic torment, leaving Hummel. Now, Hummel, as we know from his backstory, had one ace up their sleeve: a wish spell given from infernal sources, told to use when the timing was right, knowing that with this enfeebled mind he did not use any ledger resistance, knowing there's no chance for him to counterspell, to undo this wish spell. that they had in their hand, they said the immortal words, "I wish that Caraptus was never born." The words spoken to you by Asmodeus themselves, told to you to say at that time. However, Caraptus had one more card to play, which was his own wish spell. A wish spell that he'd been preparing and thinking about and contemplating for some time to use once his magical prowess had turned to a level and whence it was needed. He didn't think it was needed. He was in charge. He was ruling this world, but he thought, fine, I will take this. He wanted to take it by his own strength and might, like he wanted to take the world by his machinations, but however, there was nothing left. He would use what he could to take control of the universe, and therefore he said, I wish to rule the universe. These two wish spells tried to mix, and the multiverse had no idea how to manifest both his unbornness and his rulership over the universe, and therefore it split into multiple ways. Caraptus disappeared from in front of you into some other place, and you tried to write it using dice games and games of chance, which caused it to split further and further. It was not a good idea. And the multiverse started to split uncontrollably until, to our planar travelers here, knew. So Frankie was probably the only one who might not be aware of these. The Dabus, 3 Dabus turned up, trying to collate you into 3 different sets. Brian, that was, as some of you might not have known, it was we only heard Brian and Carl, but there's Brian, Fiara, and Carl. Brian, unfortunately, lost a third of your life source and disintegrated that into the multiverse. Just wasn't able to control it, and that was a bit of a mistake. Whoops, Brian. Carl collated another third into somewhere else, and they went off, and supposedly that was known to someone that was in charge of them. The planar people would know that the Lady of Pain is in charge of them, so seemingly she knows what she's doing. You'll just accept it. And the final third was our 4 that you see before us, who were collated and brought into an astral tunnel and taken to Sigil. That was by Fiara.
Did we get there?
Did you get there? No. Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise. It's not
We
as
actually
easy.
got there, and everything was totally fine, and the world had ended.
Yes. I love this.
We fixed the whole world. We found Caraptus. We killed him. The end.
I'm all for
Yay.
collaborative storytelling, but this I'm not. So you went into this astral tunnel. It all looked fine. You were seeing the planes flash before your eyes. Suddenly, it all splits apart. Black and purple sort of objects split through and push out. Fiara disappears, then Carl disappears, and you're left with Brian. You all collate together, and suddenly it gets split into like a hose pipe that's left flowing. You get shot out into the astral sea and end up at a beholder disco. There's a bunch of nerdy beholders looking for some dates, and you become their dates. Weirdly, Hummel turns into some really awesome person. Last time I did this, I said a really weird person. I'm just giving myself props in this one.
Love yourself.
Yeah, I was being mean, now I'm gonna be nice. And then you went in, you went with these, the DM Dick Dynamite did a fantastic job. You went in, you took these dates inside. Hummel did some funky breathing in backwards music, and you were able to sneak off. Carrie tried to shoot them with an arrow. You found the portal.
I tried to not shoot him with an arrow,
Yes.
specifically.
And you were able to find this sort of space engine, which would be a focus for teleport without fail, I think is the actual term, so that you could get to the plane of infinite portals, jump easily into a portal to Sigil, and you'll be home. Easy peasy, safe and sound. Lovely. You're just going to have to jump into the astral, into the abyss. 5 minutes into the abyss, because that's where there's loads of portals that be fine. There'll definitely be one. We'll get there. Brian says it's going to be okay. Brian knows what they're doing. However, you get there, and then suddenly everything goes to shit because all the portals start exploding. And the earth, as a tidal wave comes toward you, splits up into different, it just kind of like ruptures, and you see these objects that look like gates, and these ground holes in the ground start to chasm basically, and the earth sort of splits apart, and you're rendered up into the air as this red sky turns into a red sea that you float upon on this isle. Some of you actually fall down as you try to make this save, as the earth sort of floats now. You're on a diamond shape land that is floating on a red sea as this red sky and these sort of like this blazing dark red sort of sun beats down upon you. So that was last week. It was fun, right? It's happy
Oh, yes.
days.
Oh,
You're not
I
in the
had a
darkest
blast.
timeline.
Awesome.
You're in the happy timeline.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were promised, is that there'll be a dark timeline and like a good timeline. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, yours is like the good timeline.
Yeah, there's
And,
rainbows and
rainbows and
butterflies.
kittens,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
unicorns.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
as it always says, the best way to make people feel absolute absolute despair is make them think it's gonna be fun. And then I said this to Kyle actually. Oh, this is back. As Kyle said in Hummels, it's like no, it's
Yeah,
not. You make it horrible, make them work for it, and then they fail. And I was like, okay, so we're definitely not the
Been
darkest
taking notes.
timeline because
The DMs are the right way round.
yeah, they're
Let's put it that
definitely the
way.
right way around.
Yeah, I played D&D to escape real life.
This
Yes.
this is it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll get off the abyss at some point. I've got that programmed in somewhere, if you survive, that is. So anyway, you find yourself in the abyss. So I'll give you a bit of like where you are. So as I said, there is a red and black sky. It has sort of green and yellowy sort of colours at the edges. This dry air sort of hits you. It's got hints of sort of fetid rot and sort of decay that sort of hints on this air. As I said, the earthen diamond shape, it's floating on a sort of reddy green sort of sea of sort of like energy that looks very much like the sky in front of you, because obviously this isn't like a reality world, this is another plane. Like there's not a sun floating around an earth, it's just an object that beams down red light onto this place. So as these islands break apart, you're sort of floating on them, you sort of, and the smells hit you and this sort of essence of the world. There's sort of like, all of you with a chaotic nature will feel this more than those without. So that is Chloe and Chris.
Oh, yes.
You get this sense of energy. For those that aren't chaotic, you feel uncomfortable. This makes you feel you don't feel right. You feel more like you've got an energy that you can't quite control, like restless leg syndrome or something like that. You just want to you don't quite know what to do with this energy. Those that are chaotic and chaotic leaning, as I said with Carrie, you'd feel this sort of energy more like a creative energy to sort of to artifice and to come up with spells and use your magic and to really sort of like revel in your magic and maybe even open up to more magic than you've ever really felt before. You're eager for that level 15 that you've now lost to level 5. You're sort of feeling like, I want to cast some magic right now. I want to do something. And then I'd say for Frankie, you've got this sort of this chaotic energy that reminds you of those early days when you're building your way up in Luskan and you're finding your feet and you're becoming more powerful and you're playing with magics and you're playing off the political, corruptive ways that you've been managing and manipulating people to your gain, and then getting into control and being able to play the pawns that you own. You feel that energy again. You haven't felt that for a while because you've spent years chasing after Caraptus, trudging after a single focus, which is you've lost your party of your sort of empire, but you feel it again.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
If everyone turns around, they can sort of see there's a sly grin,
Yeah.
sort of just smirk, sort of wafting across Frankie's face,
Yeah.
and just sort of very much smiling to herself and
But
nodding.
Frankie, more than any of you, you feel aligned to your home. You know how this works. This is your setting. Like if there was a D&D game made around Frankie, this is chaotic evil. This land is chaotic evil.
Every D&D game's made around Frankie as far as Frankie's concerned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, I'd say for like Hummel has been around quite a bit, so you're aware of these sort of sensations, and this thrill of adventure is being drawn out.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. He probably looks quite serious. Like what he's concerned, but he's trying not to show it. He puts on his serious adventure. He's like the Indiana Jones face, where he knows shit's bad,
Yeah.
but he's got it under control. He knows how to get out of it.
Yeah. And then Guillermo, I'd say there's a sort of unsettling nature for you more than most, because you've been in limbo, you've been in a chaotic plane before, you've been in places of like this sort of evil. You can feel the evil. You're very much attuned to evil because you've been in places of such, and you feel it much more.
Absolutely.
You're like, I want this to go. Like I want this. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel it. For
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so your immediate surroundings. You're on a sort of as I said, you're on a bit more of on this little island, this sort of diamond-shaped island. You're sort of on the tip of one of these diamonds. You're on a sort of a rocky outcrop that sort of raises up, and then to your right, down below, about 10 feet below, there's sort of path that winds down below. There's some way, obviously, that gets up to where you are. There's more rocky outcrops beyond. And then as you look further into the center of this diamond, it goes from being very dry and sort of rocky into more sort of swampy and sort of earthen, and then steamy and humid. And you see this sort of very vibrant, more hints of green, yellow than green, and then instead of being like brown trees and branches, it's more reddy brown. And this sort of like canopy sort of starts to emerge from it, and you see sort of watery ground and sort of humidity and those sort of vapor waves floating above it. In the center of this stands a sort of black iron fortress, very renowned for the Abyss. These sort of black iron fortresses. It's very low rise though. It's like, you can't really tell scale, but you know, if the canopy's a canopy of a swamp, it's probably twice the height of the canopy as it's at its peak. But it's quite a big square plan object that sort of gets another sort of tessellates into what's it like a Aztec temple, slightly but low level Aztec temple, squares into squares. But that greenery grows in and around and out of it, and sort of pustuling out of the side is this big geodesic green, very vibrant green, turning into yellow shape that's like honey and colored, and sort of like, as I said, like hexagonal shapes overlapping, big, and it's sort of glistens in a gloopy way, and it sort of grows out of the side and sort of grows off into the canopy. And from this vantage point, you can see there's a sort of scar in the landscape where a river runs that's sort of a greeny grey Amazon, but it's just not right colour. It's not the right colour, and it's got sort of slithers of white that sort of like float in it, and slithers of sort of grey, and then different tones of grey, and then black, and then green, and sort of brown, sort of like veins within it, if anything. Like, it's like sort of like moving beyond it. You see objects floating in the sky. There are objects floating. There are more objects in the sky over that sort of area. Around you in this sort of more desert landscape, it's very much empty. You're not seeing much in the sky here, but when you look down, you see things flittering and floating about. So that's it. So I guess you can make a perception check to see if there's anything more around you, but that's really where you are. And Brian stands with you.
Brian.
Yeah. What?
Was this supposed to happen?
No. I'm a little bit lost for words, because I was expecting that, and I'm not gonna look. So I don't want to look, but
Carrie's looking.
Okay.
If he's gonna point,
Okay.
she's looking.
Have a look. Make a perception check behind you. Have a look behind you. See what you see.
Okay.
I mean, you'll see something, but I want to see how much you see.
It is a 21.
21. Okay, 21. All right. You see a lot. There's a like cube shape. So imagine a cube, but it's sort of like on its point. It's forced into the ground, but slightly jolted at an angle. And it's then got another cube that's been like cut out of it into it. And you're very much aware. You're arcane. You're an artificer. You're a wizard. You know stuff about the arcane. That is clearly what was a gate. But you can see through it as if like the square that's been cut into it, this sort of cube that's been cut into it, you can see the back of it, and that's something that you just know would not be right. Like, you would expect some sort of veil or some sort of like magical essence around it, but there's nothing. It seems just dead, and it's like a dark and void in there, and there's nothing going on. And even with a 21, you see there's steps that are nearby it that run down to that path that you can see to the side of you. But also you notice that it's sort of shaking your vision, and you can see little cracks, hairline cracks at the edges of it, and it's sort of moving a bit weird.
Fantastic. I'm gonna turn around and I'm just gonna say, okay, the portal's dead, and I think we should run.
Run? Oh,
Yeah.
great! This gets better. Right, we're gonna run. Which way? Where do I run to?
Down that path.
Jump down there. Okay. All right, everyone, make a dex save for
Save.
everyone. Okay, give me the dex save.
Everyone.
Everyone, everyone who wants to jump. If you want to jump,
We all
Brian's
jump
going to
in.
jump.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I want to jump. I wanna
Hummel
jump.
will definitely jump down.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fine. You don't have to jump. You can stay where you are. Stay where
No,
you are.
he's
Go on.
cool.
Oh,
He's
I'm
going to jump
jumping.
down. 21.
21.
Boom.
Right.
Mine's a 17.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Poor Brian.
22 for Frankie.
Right, okay. All of you are 20. You jump down. It's 10 foot. You just kind of power. 3-point landing with the arm behind you, ready to rock and roll. Carry with a 17 lands good. Ready to run, but it's not cool. It's just landed. You just did it. But everyone else looks like posing. Yeah.
Very practical.
Yeah. So, practical artificer. Yeah. There you
No
go.
more, no less.
More or less. And then Brian sort of falls off the edge and just sort of just leaps. He just goes like that. And fortunately he can float because he's a dabu, so he just sort of floats down. But it's just very depressing to watch because it's just like, whoa, I'm gonna go. He just got told to jump and jump. You feel the ground, but once you land, you think, oh, I've landed. You feel a rumble. Because you think that's just you landing. You think, oh, Hummel's like, whoa, I've gained some strength here. The gravity's good for me here. Boom. Actually, it's the ground shaking. And you see that Carrie is able to discern the sort of trajectory of this. There's a crack forming in the ground, and it seems to be coming from that portal, and it's breaking apart. On 3, I want you to shout left or right. So I'm going 3, 2, 1, go. And on the go, I want you to shout left or right. Point with your hands, whichever way you go. And we'll see where you end up. So as this crack is starting to form. So 3, 2, 1.
Left.
Right.
Right. So Brian and Carrie jump onto the right hand side, which seems to be the main part of the build, the sort of this structure. Whilst the rest of you jump to the left, which puts you onto a very small part. It's like the fissure's gone through and it's created like a 10-foot gap pretty quickly. But then you feel yourself sort of bobbing and floating because you're on like the little this diamond, the little tip of this diamond, little triangle has broken off where this portal was and split in half, and you're now floating away from the others.
I'll call across and just be like, guys, just jump over. If you fall, I'll catch you. I got feather fall. Come on.
Yeah. Brian's like, I'll do what I can. This is
It's
not
okay, I
going
got
well.
Okay. So Frankie is being a Verdun, has limited telepathic ability.
Okay.
So what she's going to do is she's going to put into the mind of Brian of protect the Verdun at all costs.
Okay. Make me a persuasion roll. Give me a persuasion roll. See how much
Persuasion.
this does.
And that is a 29.
Okay. Right.
I'm quite
So,
persuasive.
Brian is now emphatically yours. That is it. Brian is now in love with Frankie. No, it's like not quite, but just like Frankie is. I'm gonna say like Brian as Dabu would have a telepathic link with the Lady of Pain. He's seeming a bit lost, as if he's not quite sure what to do. Maybe he's feeling like this is some sort of communique from them, and therefore thinks you're of utmost importance to his sort of like leader, and therefore is like, he just runs forward and goes, Frankie, jump, I'll grab you, I'll get you, I'll do whatever I need to do. Frankie, you must make it. You are the linchpin of this team. I'm completely ignoring all of you.
Yeah, so Frankie will very much saunter to the edge of the edge of the gap,
Yeah.
She does.
and will vault over with a
Acrobatics.
24.
Acrobatics, right? Okay.
Acrobat, yes.
All right, Brian doesn't do so well, but he does well enough that he jumps to grab you, but he goes a bit further than the edge, and so he sort of floats in this thing, but your trajectory and momentum push you back over, toppling Brian onto the ground. He still floats, he never hits the ground, he sort of like floats, but you sort of like roll off them and just sort of like stand up as if nothing's happened.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, Frankie will just walk past and go, I think you need to practice a little bit more on your receivership. And just, continue
It's
past.
not generally part of my my wheelhouse, but yes, for you, Frankie, yes, of course. I will follow what you say. You're very clearly very important.
I give Frankie a bit of a side eye, like, I see you.
Yeah, Frankie has done this before. Frankie's definitely played this card many times.
Yeah.
So, Hummel and Yeri, you're left on the other side. What do you do? What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast jump on myself just at first level, which should hopefully let me kind of, like an astronaut doing like a lunar walk, just sort of like bounce low gravity over, hopefully.
Doing a little like walking motion, even though you don't need
Yeah.
to whilst you walk. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lands. Yeah, easy.
Doing like a horrible camp little jump. Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
In
Great.
fairness, Hummel's only little. He probably doesn't weigh a lot. You probably could have carried him and jumped over.
No,
him.
but you forgot about it.
Yeah, probably.
It's
But
selfish.
maybe Hummel should have thought about that before the whole end of the world thing.
So Hummel, you find yourself alone.
Nah, not for the first time.
Oh.
well, it's nice.
Hey,
Oh,
we're not feeling sorry for Hummel.
yeah, Hummel, like,
No.
Hummel's never alone. Sorry. It's a bit too close to real life. That's all.
okay, come on then, come on, let's
Cheer
come on,
up.
bring it back
Well,
up
I
again.
suppose he'll just be looking, a bit smug, and he's going to do the thing when you do like you kind of like he's kind of try and rock a little bit to try and get some momentum
Yeah.
on the thing as it's going, and then he's going to jump forward and leap, I suppose.
Give us a roll.
So, that's not great. I think I might have to use my first bit of luck.
Use your luck then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to, use a luck point on that. That's better. So 17 on the
Okay.
die, plus whatever you want me to plus, really. Athletics. Acrobatics.
Whichever one you want. It's your choice.
Acrobatics better, so 23.
23, yeah. Easy. It looks like Hummel's about to fuck this right up, right? Hummel's going like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm like rocking, and then actually like sort of tumbles a little bit, like like nearly goes on the rock, and then and then you think maybe I'll make a little run up. Maybe I need a run up. So you do a little like run, bosh, and then like leaps very impressively over the chasm, and you're all back on the other side. As you see, as this sort of like as you push off, your momentum finally sort of like pushes it out, and it just starts floating away from you slowly, like 10 foot very quickly, and another 20 foot, and another 10 foot, another 10 foot, until it's just off in this sea of red and black sort of sky, astrally void that is there. And there's now you're close to that edge. That sort of that red turns to black as it gets deeper down. That sort of draw to that edge is quite enticing. It's quite scary. It's like that being that, as I said, near to an edge of like oh my god, when you're on the edge of a cliff. It's that sort of feeling like it energizes you. Those who chaotic more. It's very energetic, like sort of energy that this void is creating. You want to sort of like not jump into it, but you want to kind of draw from it. You don't quite understand what that means, but you kind of want to. You want to you're inviting it to you as much as you're invited to it, whatever that is. But it's kind of like, it's not quite you want to jump into it, but you kind of want it somehow.
Carrie just leans over the edge line, and she's like, shame. I wanted to cast that spell.
I'm interested to know what spell.
Well, Featherfall.
Oh, Featherfall.
I said it.
Oh,
I
right,
said
yes,
it
yes.
earlier.
Oh, yes, he did. Sorry, I was a bit distracted by our Majesty leader. I mean, Frankie. Sorry. Yes.
Yes, Frankie is
come
most
over.
definitely the leader around here. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Is that
I'm
right?
glad that you've all noticed that so early on in our adventure.
I wasn't going to
yes.
say because I thought it was an awkward thing to mention because there's like 4 of you and you're all very powerful people, so I did know who's the leader, so I didn't want to mention it. But yeah,
Oh,
Frankie,
yeah,
I would have seen.
Well, someone's gotta, be the face of the party so that the rest of us can be like the brains and the brawn,
Okay, I feel like I was treading into something I shouldn't have stumbled into, so I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to move on. So, right, I don't quite know what we're doing here. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Well, seems quite simple. In situations like this, can't go backwards, got to go forwards.
That seems fair.
That's
It's
a very good point, Hummel. And I wonder, looking over at the fortress, I wonder if there's any life on Mars.
Take an inspiration point
Oh,
and then lose it. And then lose it again. For trying to put a David Bowie song in there, but lose it for how badly you did it. If you know what I mean.
That's harsh but fair.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
don't think it's harsh, to be honest. It's just totally warranted.
yeah, it's actually, yeah.
There seemed to be some kind of river. Generally, a river comes from somewhere and leads to somewhere. Question is, which way do we go?
I'm going to tell you very, very briefly off the point that river is definitely the River Styx. I can tell you that. And that is a way into Sigil. That is an option, actually. It's not a great way. It's a bit dangerous, but it's a way.
I don't know much about the River Styx, but I don't particularly want to get in there.
Well, I
If
mean, I
that's
wouldn't
what you're
necessarily
doing.
suggest
Get
swimming,
into
but we
it.
might be able to make a barge.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can get a barge, or we can find a Ravenloft. I'm sure I've got some soul coins somewhere. Somewhere in here? I think I'll have a look as we're walking. I'm not sure if I lost it in the tower or somewhere. I don't know, in the whole disco. I think someone stole something from... Anyway, right, yes, that's good. Otherwise, there's the fortress, but there's going to be a demon lord that lives there. But there's always a portal in one of those. We could try that. That's an option.
I've never met a demon lord.
You don't want to. I'll tell you that for sure. They're not great fun. Yeah, but that's an option.
Never know till you try.
Very true. Right, well, I'm without communication to my main person, Lady Payne. She's not really talking to me right now, which I'm a little bit unsure as what to do, because normally that gives me a lot of direction. So right now I'm sort of on my own. We're not very much thinking on our own sort of people. So I'm trying my best here, but those are things I know. River Styx. Demon Lord's probably got a portal hidden away. There might be something else we can find around here, but it looks... That won't be a portal. That'd be more like a gate. That'd be more like something more tangible. I'm hoping that hasn't broken, and the fact that that's there, it looks like they haven't broken apart. So I'm feeling like maybe there's a way in. They'll have a route to Plaguemort, maybe? Do you know Plaguemort? You know this. It's like it's the gate town on the Outlands.
Okay.
That's another option. Those are my options I can give you, but I'm really going to leave it to you because I'm sort of losing a leader, and Frankie seems very much appropriate for that role.
Yes. Well, from my point of view, I'm pretty sure you may not have met a demon before, but a demon certainly has not met the likes of us.
That is true.
Right.
Sweet yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan.
Okay. But it looks like you know your things. You're well-travelled and seasoned adventurers. That's good.
Yes. Although there is a third option, of course. This seems such a nice place, actually. I don't think we need to rush away from here.
No, I've got one clear instruction, was to get into Sigil, right?
I think the ground's kind of cracking open and big chasms and stuff would suggest that probably don't want to stay.
But can't you feel the power? Can't you feel it just rushing through your body? It's. No, I think we could make a home here. I'm sure it's.
It reminds me of a certain kind of power I felt quite a long time ago, and I'm not keen to recreate that feeling. So, we'll get you moving as well before we end up having to kick your ass too. Yeah.
I'd like to see you try.
What's
Well,
everyone's...
I'd normally agree with you, Frankie, but Hummel makes a great point. As much as I hate to admit it, if you wanted to stay here, you probably wouldn't last very long. Gestures vaguely at the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I've got Frankie. You're very important to to Lady Payne. She's given me one instruction, which is to get all of you to Sigil, and I feel like I'm focusing on you now, particularly. So I'm not gonna let you stay here. There's not a lot I can do about it. There's things I can do about it, but I think you need to come. I think you're instrumental. Instrumental to what's gonna happen.
Yeah, obviously playing to Frankie's ego is definitely the right way to go. So
Even though you're aware that they're doing this just because you've made them think you're important.
but
it worked.
that's irrelevant.
Frankie's buttering up her own ego.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Frankie is very, very used to sort of buttering up her own ego. Yes, so yeah, she's sort of drinking it in, and and you know, ums and ahs over it, or ponders, and well, I suppose if I'm that important to Lady Payne, I suppose we must push forward.
Okay, with that, I'd like. What's your passive perceptions, you folks? What's your passive perception?
16.
Passive
19.
perception is perception. Oh, 13.
13,
15.
15. Okay, 19 then. It's the only one. Carrie, you're talking. You're talking quite a bit. There's a lot of energy going around you. You notice to the you hear a noise coming from where you think that steps was coming down, which came down to the side that's not broken. You start hearing some sort of movement, some footsteps, and sort of like cracks in the.
Yeah. And like literally puts a finger on Frankie's lips, like just. You hear that? You hear that?
Okay, it sort of curves around this sort of path, and so the path has disappeared behind you, and the path then leads down below to the right. But coming from the left is where that step up would be to the platform above, and so coming from that is where this noise is. You can try and make some hiding, but suddenly emerging from around the corner, you see this goat head figure with these goat ram horns growing out of it. It's sort of humanoid shape, but it's got like a furry chest sort of running down it, and it sort of spots you as it comes around with these sort of goat, like sort of those square-eyed like irises, and it goes and it just charges at you, and you see two more, and I need you to roll initiative. Come on, let's get
Beautiful.
some initiative on.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Oh,
Balls.
Good.
Yep.
They roll.
that's a whole 4.
That's a 4.
Ooh.
But I got 10. I thought that was bad.
22.
Jeez. Yeah,
Okay.
7 for Frankie. Frankie's still basking in her glory.
7. 4 for. Right. So I've got 4 for Carrie. I've got a 7 for Frankie. I've got, what did I get for Hummel?
A 10.
Jesus Christ, these are terrible.
Pretty impressively terrible, given that I know what some of your dexterity scores.
And what was yours, Guillermo's?
22.
20. Bloody hell. So basically, all of you
Gigi's
are like,
like-
oh, I better roll one for our Dabu friends.
That's because, yeah,
No.
if you weren't rolling for Brian, then Frankie would certainly have been giving him the eyes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Guillermo, you're the only one that gets ahead of these creatures. As I said, there's 3 of them coming at you, of these sort of like goat-headed humanoid, quite lanky, sort of furred. I can send you a picture. But it's and they're sort of running at you, sort of grunting and seeming very excited that they found someone to play with, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and
How tightly sort of bunched up are they?
they are probably not far between each other. The first ones run, I'm going to say, shot ahead of the others a little bit because they've come around the corner and seen, so they're going to have got 15 foot get advantage on their other party. So they're sort of going to run at you. But you've seen them just about to charge. So when they're very close, but I'm going to say that by the time they get to them, they'll get to you first. One of them will get to you first. But you've like, Carrie said shush, you've looked and been like ready to fight. The minute they said shush,
Yeah.
you could sort of realise. So you're sort of prepared.
Okay. I would like to stop my turn then by casting Entangle in such a way that will hopefully nab all 3 of them. It's a 20-foot square, so
20 foot square, that will capture
based
all
on
of
your
them.
description, that should be possible. Yeah.
They're about 30 feet
Okay.
away from you, ish, when you sort of make that decision. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
So
Okay, cool.
sort of like holding a staff up, and instead of like the vines described by the spell description, I'm imagining like sort of these grasping kind of ghostly hands, like sort of reaching for them and trying to pull them down. So that's a strength check for each of them, please. With
Does it
a
make them
D-
prone, or does it just grab? Does it grapple?
It makes them restrained.
Okay, fine. So I don't get advantage. All right.
You don't. The DC in that, sorry, is 15.
That's a 10 for the first one. That's a 10 for the second one, and that's an 8 for the third one.
So All three are
All
restrained.
three are restrained. Okay.
They can use that action to try to free themselves, but
Fine.
otherwise.
Okay. Oh, I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Me?
So so within 30 feet, the minute you see they get within this 30 feet of you, you start to smell that rot. Just it really gets to you.
Right.
It really gets to you, and you just need to make a save because it sort of fills your sinuses. You're just like, oh dear.
Yeah, 16.
Fine. Yeah, you're fine. So I don't need
Okay.
everyone to do that on their turn. So if everyone wants to make that roll now, you can make that now. So when it comes to your turn, I'll ask you.
That's the end of my turn anyway.
Okay, fine. That's great. The next turn is theirs, so they're gonna just be like, sort of like this. The grasping vine you did, was it? I forgot. Was it
Entangle.
entangle? So it is like it's the sort of a vine like structure that comes out. I'm gonna feel like you pull out some sort of like greeny brown sort of like vines kind of come out of this reddish earth and sort of start wrapping around them, and they sort of like go like this. They're just like trying to break free. I'm gonna try. One of them does. That's 17 plus 2, so that's 19. So the first one breaks 3, 20. Oh, and the third one doesn't. So the two of them use their action to break 3, but one of them doesn't. But that's their turn, basically. Leaving it to Hummel next.
Okay. Right.
You need to give me that Constitution saving throw.
It's not a fear effect, is it?
No.
Or frightening or something?
No.
No, sure.
No.
Okay.
It's just going to take some damage.
Just a 6. just a 6.
Just a 6. Okay, you take 2 necrotic damage.
Oof. Cheeky.
Plus
Nasty.
1 damage for each below you. Oh, so you take 2 plus what? So you take 5 damage. So it's 3.
5 in total, yeah?
5 in
Oof.
total. That's it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
They've got
I-
like little miniature flies like flying around them, and they've got sort of greeny ears and like green eyes. Like they're sort of like, it's not quite, once you get to see them, their flesh is very grey and sort of dead pale, and the eyes are sort of like greeny, and their ears have tinges of green. So they're sort of like, they don't smell very good. Anyway, yeah. What's your turn? What you gonna do?
Right, so first of all, he is going to say, as a bonus action, well, he's going to draw his sword, and as he draws his sword, he says, Varma. And his dress that he wears, his clothes that he wears, which is normally it's kind of like finery, he wears quite posh looking clothing, all of a sudden changes into this massive, like, kind of like proper like manga style mech armor. It's like bits of metal sticking out of it. It's like the most glorious looking
Cool.
like plate mail that you've ever seen, just like ching 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 all over his body.
Awesome.
Right, okay,
Is that a bonus action?
that's a bonus action.
What is that for casting? Just so people know it.
Okay, so it's an illusion. It's nothing at all. He wears glamoured studded leather, and as a bonus action, he can say it the word just to make it look different. So
Okay,
he's just
fine.
making it look like he's
Look cool. Yeah.
looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. That kind of actually excites them. You notice that they find that actually quite like,
Yeah.
this is a real challenger,
And then he will make a charge to put himself into like a tactical position. I mean, how many of us are actually like frontline fighters?
None of us?
None.
None.
None. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he'll take
Frankie's
the
the
position.
Frankie's
You're-
getting
you're
moved.
the bard is the tank in this.
The bard is the tank in this scenario. Okay.
I have quite high armor class, so
Yeah.
I can't do the hits, but I can take. I hope.
So yeah, he
Battlesmith.
draws
You've
his
got your-
rape. Sorry.
I'm saying the battlesmith you've got your little construct as well,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna say for flavour you can conjure. And
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, how's that? So it's not always there with you because it's always a ball ache to keep track of them. So you just conjure them. Anyway, I have like a little ball, like a Pokeball or something like
Oh my god, it's definitely in a Pokemon.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's canon now. Right.
Yeah, so he draws his Dragon Slayer rapier. So
Yeah.
it's like a proper fancy French kind of musketeer style rapier. So it's
Yeah.
got a real fancy kind of handguard, and that's basically a dragon as it goes round. He wraps around his hands, and he just charges at the closest one to make a strike. I suppose.
Oh, make a strike then. Make an
I
attack.
don't know what else he can really do because I wasted my bonus action on looking fancy.
That's fine. That's very important.
As a good bard should.
It is.
Yeah.
That'll be an 18.
That hits. That hits. Give me some damage.
Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I need a D8. An 8. Look at that. So 8 plus 6 for a 14 magical piercing damage, unless they are of a dragon or dragon subtype, in which case I get to do loads of bonus damage.
So it was 14 total damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty tasty, I'd say. Okay, cool. All right. So the first one, you charge into it. They are, as I said, quite exhilarated, and then the fact that when you change your armor and then you rush in and they're kind of like, yeah, come on, like they want you to run at them. They're sort of excited by that. It's ready for this fight. You slash at it. It sort of like tries to parry, like with it's only got like a club in its hands, and then the other hand's just like, and it's got like a barbed tail that tries to swing out in front, but you just like slice underneath it. You're a valiant fighter, well versed in combat. This thing is just sort of like flailing. It's just too over the top with what its movements. It's very much telegraphing its movements. Like where it's set. So you kind of swings up. You go slice up, kind of slice out side of its arm, like here by its sort of rib cage, and it sort of like feels like. But as it cuts, you see that like the blood doesn't like spurt out or like pool, like it just kind of like seeps out this sort of like browny color. It's not right. It's not like you're used to. And it sort of turns black very quickly from this sort of reddy brown to like a black.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like just sort of like drools down their arm, their sort of side of their chest. But yeah, you've taken that action, but it's kind of excited by it. Yeah, it sort of likes that as much as it, but it's ready to attack back. That's your turn then. Frankie, you're up next.
Okay, so the other creature that's got away from the entanglement, obviously there's one in combat with Hummel. The other one, Frankie, she feels empowered by the surroundings. Like I said, she really does. So she's going to draw herself up to a full 5 foot height and just shout up, "Do you not know who I am?" to the other one, and with those words screeching down at the other one, can you make she's going to send out a mind slither. So can you make a DC 19
Intelligence
save?
Intelligence save.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
-1. Got an 8. Well, that's an 8 because I rolled a 9.
Right, on that one you'll take 8 psychic damage, and you'll subtract 1d4 from your next saving throw.
How much psychic damage was that? Sorry.
8 points.
And was that the main one again? Yeah. And I take
Whichever the other one that Hummel wasn't attacking.
Yeah. Oh, the one that Hummel wasn't attacking.
Yeah.
Right. There's two. There's two
Because
others.
there was 2 who broke free, so yeah, just the one that
Okay. The
wasn't.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
And it's D4 from my next saving throw.
1d4 from your next saving
Yeah,
throw.
I'll put that to the side so I remember that. Cool. Right. Yeah. So I think this other one's feeling like sort of starting to. The one in that still is like rutting, like a kind of kind of moving its hoofs about, sort of trying to like get ready to like fight. It's eager. They're both eager. And the other one that you like hit, kind of just like you hit it with this, and it's kind of disappointed with the sort of attack because it was expecting you to kind of come at it, and you can see this sort of sense of disappointment. It kind of like freaks, it sort of screams out this yowl. It's sort of like, if you've ever heard goats, bleating. Have you ever heard that sound? It sounds like a human like crying. It's like one of these scary sounds, and it's like sounds slightly human, like a scream of a human comes out of it as you hear this, like as you take this pain out of it. It's like it's in pain, and it looks at you and it's kind of like it's ready to it wants to charge at you. It wants to fight. It doesn't want magic. It wants fighting.
Oh, Frankie's just going to make a stance of kind of just to be able to spring. No, that's a sort of action, sort of movement. She'll just sort of move to a sort of a readied stance. And that'll do for her.
Okay. All right. It's going to be Brian's turn next. So, Brian, he sort of stands aloft behind, and he just sort of you see him just kind of go, sort of close his eyes and sort of put his arms out, and all of you are basically blessed. So you get a D6 to any of your spells, any advantage, any rolls, attack rolls or saving throws, anything. It's like a super bless. You get a super bless from Brian.
Super blessed.
Super blessed.
Just retcon slightly. I'd pre-rolled a dirty 20 on the con save. As well.
Yeah.
Just fine. So keep us straight.
Well, thanks for reminding me. That's fine. And that's basically all that Brian does. But Brian sort of is sitting there and seems to be concentrating whilst levitating. He moves behind you. He's behind the party. He's not going to fight. He's not a fighter, but he can give you boons. That's basically how he can work. So that's Brian's turn. Carrie.
Okay, I'll do the con save first. Oh, not amazing. That's a 13 on the con save.
That's all you needed. That was the DC. It was 13.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's the DC.
That's all fine. So there's one fighting Hummel, there's one fighting Frankie, and there's one restrained. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
You get advantage on the one that's restrained, by the way, for everyone who's been attacking. Just to let you know now.
I'm doing my best support energy, which is trying to help, and everyone just ignores what you're doing.
Exactly. I know.
A coward way of fighting to attack something that's restrained and can't defend itself. There is no
To be
honor
fair,
in that.
that's exactly what Frankie was going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Cowardly but also effective.
I'm gonna so I need to use my bonus action to command the Steel Defender, whose name is Cupcake. And they're just a small centaur.
Can they be in a very little cupcake that you chuck to the ground
Yes,
as a
little mini
Pokeball, and it goes
cupcake.
blah 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 into a mini centaur?
Yes, because Carrie made it as a child. That's why it's a cupcake.
Love that.
So she throws. So she's gonna throw the cupcake, and she's gonna go, "Cupcake attack!" Oh, that was Scottish.
Yeah, that's the wrong voice.
Laugh is laughing.
Cupcake attack.
Cupcake attack. She's gonna chuck it at the one that's restrained.
Yes.
So it comes out.
Okay.
It will go immediately after me, but I'm commanding it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use my action to cast catapult, and I'm gonna try and get one of the big rocks that's broken off from from the cracks and stuff, and chuck it at the one that's fighting Frankie.
Right. Yep.
Because it needs to do a dex
save.
And it has less d4 or something from what Frankie did.
It does. Well, that was a 6.
Yeah, that
On the
fails.
dice, it makes it an 8, but I'll roll the d4 anyway. Oh, it fell on the floor. They always fall on the floor. Bloody calculator.
More like a D4 floor.
That was a 4.
Right?
That was a 4, so it had a 4. It rolled a 4 in total. Yeah.
Well,
so
definitely it does not save.
it doesn't say. Okay.
It has to weigh 1 to 5 pounds, so it's not a huge rock, but it's a rock. It's going to go
damage?
flying at it from the side, smack into it.
I love it.
And
very
it
Acme.
has both the I need to get my other bit D8 now. Both the rock and the monster is going to take 3d8 damage.
3d8 damage.
Yeah.
So the flavor for this I see is that its racked brain with this spine sliver. It's just as that's happening, and it sort of looks and it focuses back on the aggression towards Frankie for using magic on it and not fighting like a proper warrior. He just gets whacked in the face. It just poof, like this off by this huge bolt. This 5-pound boulder. Okay, so give me the damage.
Yep. That is 11 points of bludgeoning damage
11
from being
Ooh,
smacked in the face with a rock.
awesome.
Nice.
That's cool. Like that. So with that, this one is now happy because it's it then recoils back from it, and then it goes, and its face is like caved in a little bit on the side, like its cheekbone is sort of broken, and it's got like it's like a snout of a goat face. So like it's sort of like that bit where it meets the eyelid is sort of caved in a little bit, but and it's sort of like got a bit of this black ichor coming out of its mouth, but it's sort of got a grin on the other side, but it's lopsided by the sort of like palsy on that side. But it's kind of like it sort of like licks with this sort of long goat lick on the sort of on the blood and tastes it, and it's like, yeah, like it's Silence of the Lambs, you know. Sort of like it's happy. But these animals are just like, they are, just to give you like clarity on them, they have bloodlust, they crave violence, and they are willing to die. Like anyone who knows of these creatures, that's what they're up for. They are just up for battle. They are the pure base demons. So just for people at home, I will let people know because he's a Bulezau. Bulezau? I don't know how you pronounce them. They need pronunciation guides, but yeah, that's what they are. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the whole round. Have you got anything?
Yeah.
You're
my cupcake still has to go.
Cupcake.
They go immediately after me.
And do they attack the same one?
No, they are going to attack the one that's restrained.
Oh, great. Yeah, so take advantage on that roll then.
They have a melee weapon attack. I assume they just have a giant wrench like Carrie does.
Yeah. Great. I love it. Yeah. The art is on the screen, so you can see that when on the thing, so you can see the.
So to hit, that is my attack modifier to hit. So 21.
Yeah, that hits.
Nice. And it's going to take. It wouldn't be easy and just tell me, would it? That is 9 points.
Okay.
Of force damage.
Force
'cause
damage.
It's magic.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Nice.
That's pretty good actually. That's a really OP actually stat to have it with force damage as well, because that makes it better than anything. Like
Yeah, I
bludgeoning
think I do have to like command it each time.
Yeah,
though.
I think
otherwise it just dodges.
Just dodges. They've got like a, is it something rend or something as well they can do? So basically they can kind of just give you advantage. They can kind of
got a deflect attack, which is a reaction, so I can do disadvantage on attack roll against someone else that's next to it.
That is pretty. They're really good. I mean, it's a little.
It also
bit
can't
like,
be surprised.
Yeah.
FYI.
What? That's pretty cool. It's
The
like
defender
a sentry.
cannot be surprised.
That's really good. That would be very useful when you're long resting, potentially in the
Yes.
abyss or something like that. I don't know why you'd be doing that.
I don't know. Just hypothetically.
Just hypothetical. So that's the thing. Top of the round then, we're with Guillermo. It'll be with Belezo next, and then Hum will be on deck. So Guillermo, you see, still got one restrained. They've all taken a bit of damage. The one that actually got hit by the boulder is looking the worst of the lot, actually, because I got hit twice, and isn't looking too happy. Well, it's looking happy, but it's not looking too good.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, so that's it.
In as much as any of them were looking good to begin with. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It looks surprisingly somehow worse than it did earlier. We're not quite sure, but this place gets worse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna smash the druid, break in case of monster button and wild
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah. Break in
Into-
case of monster button.
Yeah, into a black bear. Which
Awesome.
I can do.
Yeah. Cool.
And just go after the one that is weakest. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the second one. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So you charge after it. What sort of attacks do you get? Claw attacks.
So with a bear, you get 2 attacks, one with bite and one with claws.
All right. Give me your rolls for those then.
So just rolling both of them.
Whilst you're doing that, then I think again, every single time something happens that is like an escalation of violence, this thing, they all look very happy. They see that you turn from your Githzerai sort of quite lithe figure into a hulking black bear, and they're like, yes, yes, come on, like they're sort of like, they even maybe like just start pounding chests, sort of like feeling like this is it, come at me sort of thing, come at me bro sort of feeling.
Oh
Yeah.
god. Okay. I've got an 8, which probably doesn't hit.
They are
and
the
a-
jocks of the
Oh yeah.
Jocks of the abyss.
jocks of the abyss.
Let me hear it.
Brilliant. I've got an 8 and a
sticks.
15.
A 15 hits. That hits. Yeah.
Okay, that is with the claws attack, which is 2d4 plus
Ooh.
2.
Give me
So
that.
ro-
Yeah.
I'll roll my pittance of dice now.
Still something.
Yeah. So we've got 8 damage. So that's 8
damage.
slashing damage with the claws, and that's on the one
Okay.
that had been hit by the boulder.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to be hit by the boulder. It's not looking great. I must admit, it's not looking great. Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
That's my turn. Sorry. Yeah.
You do you get 2 attacks? You get the slashing damage. Yeah.
Yes. I did the bite and it rolled an 8. So.
Oh, I thought you could do 2 attacks.
Yeah, I rolled them both.
Oh, you
Separately.
did 2 bites. Oh, sorry. I see.
So
Yes.
you have 1 claw attack and 1 bite attack, if you see
Oh,
what I
right.
mean.
I see.
So you don't
That's
actually
right.
get 2 claws attacks.
Oh, I see. I get you. Cool. All right. So yes, that's okay. So it's not looking great. Then it's the Belazer turn. So I'm gonna just roll for the third one to see if they escape.
Yep.
They do. They do escape. So they're
Oof.
finally out.
Good for that.
So the first one that was attacked originally by it was by Guillermo, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it's the bears now attacking. Yeah, I think it's gonna go for the. No, it's gonna go for Hummel. It's gonna go for Hummel because it's seen you portray yourself as this quite warrior with your display of the thing. And it's gonna let the one that's been attack the bear. So it's gonna go after you. So it's going to charge at you, Hummel.
Try it.
And it's going to... okay. Yeah. It's going to try and attack you with its tail. So it's going to sort of run at you, like charge, and then swing this barbed tail at you, so I whack you in the face. So that is a plus... plus 4. It's 12. Does a 12 hit?
Nope,
No.
I'm afraid not.
So it's quite aggravated. It's quite excited. It sort of tries to swing the tail. It doesn't quite judge your height differential quite right, and it sort of swings over the top of your head. And that's basically its turn. But it's within 5 feet of you now. The second one's going to take an attack at you, Guillermo, in your bear form. That is another 12. Does that hit the bear?
That does hit, yeah.
Okay. So this tail sort of swings. When the barbs come in, it sort of grapples into the skin, rips a line through, and then pulls out, and it brings some like matted hair along with it. It's 1d12. 1d12
Ow.
plus 2. I rolled a 12, so that's 14 damage.
Yeah.
I need you to also make a DC 13 Constitution save.
I'll do my best. My best.
Yeah, it'll bear. Oh.
Which one is that? Sorry, did you say it was the one that that was restrained?
No, the one that you'd hit with the boulder.
Oh, okay, right.
That
That then
I'm
got
in.
hit. That one that you're in melee. Which
Nope.
is
I fail that con save definitely. I rolled a 4.
Does anybody get opportunity attacks if it ran away from Frankie to attack someone?
No, I was
Or was you already next to it?
He was.
already next to it.
already
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think I was in melee combat with it because
no, that's not. It's only whoever got hit by the barbed tail. So you are now poisoned.
Right. Yeah,
That's
I've got the feeling my wild shape's not going to last so much longer.
I
So
don't
you-
think you take damage from poison. But
No, you don't.
it's just
You
annoying.
poison means you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks
Oof. For
But-
how long? Sorry.
for 24 hours, and then you can make another save.
Oh. It's just
Yeah.
like being drunk. It's fine.
And you notice
You,
where
usually
it's.
just last 24
But then
hours for
again,
me.
you're in wild shape, so I don't know how it quite works.
That, yeah.
I'll let you make a save. I'll let you make a save when you de-wild shape. Okay?
Oh,
I'll let you
thank
make
you.
another save because you've made the save as a bear, and so the bear is poisoned.
The
so at the
constitution's
moment-
different.
Yeah, the constitution
Yeah.
different. So I'm going to say that you can make the save again when you wild shape back. But you notice anyone else who's seeing this back where this cut has gone. It's gone green and rotting very quickly, and some
Yeah.
pustules and boils are starting to grow on the back of this bear. It doesn't look good. It kind of like, and it's sort of, yeah. Yeah, and if you fail, you will start losing hit points maximums, which is not good. So, anyway, there you go. You've been hit. Finally,
you.
the third one that was restrained, it is going to try and attack your defender.
Yeah, they can
Okay.
do that.
You can do that. So it will
Yeah.
make an attack roll.
They
which
can
is
try.
13 to hit.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry,
You'll
a 15 to hit. Sorry, 15 to hit. 15.
Or it needed a 15.
Okay, so it hits. It will do 1d12 plus 2 damage. It rolls a 4, so that's 6 damage. It's not a creature, so it doesn't have to make a constitution save. So it just... The barb's
It's a
trying to
construct.
get caught into some of the wiring and sort of like rip a few bits of wires out. But you see this sort of like green liquid come off it, but all it does is just fall down, and the construct won't really affect it in any way. And then it's Hummel's turn.
Okay. Hummel.
Come on. Hummel.
Come on, Hummel.
Score some goals.
I think he's just going to make another attack, to be honest. He's engaged in
Yeah.
combat. I
Yeah.
don't think he's got much else to do right now. And the battle seems to be going in our favour.
Yeah.
So he will just lash out and make another attack
Good.
at the one that he's engaged with. For an 18 again.
That hits.
Okay. Well, only a 2 on the die that time, so 8 points of magical piercing damage.
Okay. Yeah, so it's looking I mean, the first two are looking a bit rough. They're sort of starting to find they're looking bloodied, if the old version of the terms, if you know your old D&D terms. So they're not looking great.
As a bonus action, he just who's like done the worst? Is it out of the three of you guys so far? Does anyone look like they're struggling a bit? Maybe the bear, actually. Yeah. So he'll shout out to.
Yeah, the bear, but that's kind of wild shape, so that's a little different at least.
Yeah, you're the only one that's really engaged in melee, aren't you? So he will kind of
doing anything. Yeah.
yeah, and as he's swinging away and stabbing and kind of riposting with his rapier, he will turn over his head, probably a bit surprised to suddenly see that there's a bear, but he's like, will shout out something encouraging like, "GG, come on, we can do this together, crush him," or something, I don't know, whatever Dave Bowie would say, and chucks him.
Is that what they say?
Yeah. Chucks him a bardic inspiration, because
Alright.
Glamour Bar, you get combat inspiration as well. So basically, you can have a D8, and you can add that on pretty much any roll you like. You can
Don't
attack
forget
it.
you've got your bless on everyone as well. Actually, that saving
Yes.
throw, you could have rolled a D6 on that saving throw.
Oh no!
Roll it now. I'll let you roll it now. Roll it now. Roll it now.
I don't think it will make a difference because I rolled a 4.
Oh no, it wouldn't make a difference. Okay.
So thanks anyway, Hamilton.
So-
You've got that bless on.
The
There's a
bardic
D6.
inspiration is a D8, so you can use
Ooh,
it
thank
on attack throws or saving throws, but you can also use it for damage as well. My one. I
Oh.
Basically
think
anything except death
you can-
saves, isn't it?
you can also use it on because it's the combat one. So if something attacks you, you can also use it and add it to your AC to get a higher AC if you want.
Yeah. This is the College of Valor. It's good battle bard. Best battle bard. That's cool.
Very fun.
Okay, cool. That's a great move. That is a really good move. So that gives the bear. I think also you'd be quite aware of Guillermo turning into wild
Yes,
shape
yes,
quite
yeah.
relatively or often. But yes,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think
I
you'd be
know.
aware as well that as the bear has quite a low AC as well. So whilst it's a big damage output, it's so it gives him a little bit of extra help after seeing him take a big whack just now.
Frankie, you're up, and
Okay,
it'll
so
be Karen
I'm
next.
guessing Frankie, the closest combatant to Frankie, be the one that's engaged with the bear at the moment.
Yeah.
So what I will do is I will fling myself over with my rapier, and I will try to stab this one in the midsection. So that's a 9 plus 9, 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Yeah.
Yep. And so it's 1d8 plus. Oh, it's not a D8. What's a D8? D8 looks like that. D8 plus 6. Oh, I rolled an 8. That's 14. And I'll also get my sneak attack.
Oh, you don't need to roll it.
I do need to roll it.
Do
it's
roll
my
it, though.
first
Roll it,
opportunity.
though.
I'm
Roll it,
rolling
though.
it.
You need to hear the number.
14, 20, 25. 25 piercing damage.
I'm gonna play because I like doing this in games. When you get double the death number, is you get to cleave. You get to cleave. So you shoot through, and it's such a powerful strike that it goes through that one. When they're within 5 feet of each other, it goes. You shoot like what do you use? What do you use for your sneak attack? What are you using?
I'm using my rapier.
Your rapier, exactly,
Yeah.
perfect. So you're within 5 feet, and you just kind of go through. You cut so finely across their chest, and you see it just like, "Oh, that's it, done."
Yeah.
And because the cut is so quick, it cuts through, and you cleave through into the next one. And because it's so much damage, you take out 2 of them in one hit. So
Wow.
the 2 that were most damaged. Because the other one's too far. Sorry,
Too
unfortunately,
far.
I take that
Well,
back. But you really bloody the second one down like badly. But you take out one, and the other one is now pretty much where the other.
Well,
that was.
could I just on that one, because what
Yeah.
I had my mind for was going to kill it. What I was going to do is stab it through, and as it's bending over, I'm actually going to roll over the top of it, and then in that case bring the rapier down on the second one. So it's almost like one fluid movement. So she kind of rolls over and.
Okay,
brings
yeah.
it
So
to
you
the-
sort of
That's
like
so cool.
jump up.
Yeah.
Maybe you get some purchase off Guillermo on the bear.
Yeah.
You sort of run,
Yes.
jump on the bear,
Tag team it.
slice down and do like a whirlwind
Well,
motion, which
that's
sort
it,
of
yeah.
like I can't remember the character from Tekken who does the flip kick, and you sort of go "Poof," like this,
Yeah.
and it sort of slices in a circular motion.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. So I want to sort of land so I'm close to the one that's in combat with Hummel. Yeah.
So
No.
as the one dies, you hear the one that you hit yelp with a sort of excitement, like yo, like a yo, sort of makes sort of like yeeping sounds. Like it's quite like yes, you felled it, and now it's got a chance to take on the person who felled its like other friend. No one has friends in the US.
Right?
Friend. So yeah, great move there. Awesome. Brian, and Brian fortunately has an ability which will be quite useful. Sees the bear in this distress. Oh, I wonder if it's a concentration. Just give me a second.
When you said that, my brain thought you meant his ability was called Seize the Bear, and I was like,
Seize the bear. Yes.
What?
He's got the Seize the bear ability. It's cool. What's it? Restoration. Sorry, I just want to see what restoration is. I can remember if it was concentration or not. It isn't. So yeah, it will cast lesser restoration on the bear, and you are no longer
Yay.
poisoned.
Boom.
Wow. Thank you.
Yep. That's fine. So you see Ryan sort of like still holding this sort of like bless on you. It sort of then focuses its energy, brings its hands through, sort of does some sort of maneuvering with its hand. You see like these symbols and shapes move out of its head, which you've seen it do when it communicates beyond itself, and it sort of creates these sort of like symbols and runes, like outside of its like within its periphery, and it sort of like pushes that out onto you, and you feel. Oh, that pain! Like you felt like a sore where it was normally sore, but it felt like someone was burning acid in that sore whilst afterwards. But now you feel like, oh, it's just a wound, as it was before.
Yeah.
So yeah, feeling a bit better.
Just a wound.
It's just a wound now, not
Festering sore.
Pussing. Yeah, exactly. Not pustule. So yeah, that's Brian's turn. Carrie.
Okay, I'm going to run straight at the one that's still restrained to help out Cupcake. I'm going to whack it with me giant wrench.
Yes. Do it.
Which I've got to do con save first. Hang on.
No, you don't.
No.
You only have to do it the first time.
Oh, you only have to do it the first time. I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's
every turn.
Yeah, it starts. Yeah, I'm
That's fine then.
I'm changing it. I'm making it that it's the first time you see it. Because once you've overcome
Okay.
it, I don't want to take it every time.
That is fine then, and it's still restrained, so it's advantage. Oh my gosh, that is 29
Yeah,
to
that
hit
hits.
with the giant wrench.
I'm gonna say with a 29, you can you can 1.5 times the damage dice. Okay, 'cause I think if you go over 25, it's not a crit, but you at least you got to get some bonus. I can't abide by just simple D&D rules. As ever on this show.
Sounds like you want to play Pathfinder, don't you? You get a crit if you're 10 above.
Do you?
So
Yep.
Okay.
Pathfinder, yeah. 10
Well,
above the target is a crit. Just
Well, I'm going to make that a rule. You're definitely way over 10. Well, I'm going to take that rule. I'm going to take that rule now. That's new rule in Dragon's Den.
Yes,
10
I'm
above
just going to
the-
slowly, over the course of the season,
Yeah.
slowly turn this into
Turn into
Pathfinder.
We don't play proper D&D in the show anyway, so that's fine. Okay,
who plays proper D&D?
no one.
Well,
Only
I rolled
nerds.
the real nerds.
Yeah. Or is it the real nerds who make up their own rules for their own games? I don't know. That is up for debate. But anyway, yes, you crit. I'm going to say you crit. You get a crit.
Okay.
Double that damage
We're
dice.
doing. So is that double dice or like double the number?
Double the dice.
Double the dice. Okay, well again. That
Oh,
is.
actually, I haven't. No, what we do on our show is we normally take maximum dice and then you roll the dice. So you get
Oh,
maximum
yeah,
dice.
I
and
thought
then
maybe
you-
we do
Maximum
that.
on the first dice, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Cool.
So what is the
Standard.
dice? It's
That'll be a 6. So it's a D6. So that'll be
6.
6 plus the first one was a 3, so 9 plus 8, which
Oh.
is.
17.
I'm maxed out
9
this
plus 8,
wrench.
17. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one's that? Is
17.
that the first one or the restrained one?
The
original
The
restrained
restrained one.
Okay, because it wasn't double their damage, but you do take them out. So
Yay!
you describe what do you do? How do you how do you whack
She's
them?
like gonna just gallop towards it and go past it, but as she goes past it, she swings this wrench and just like takes
Backhands
its
it.
head off.
Oh yes, I love it. So it's sort of like dun,
That's
dun,
so
dun, dun,
cool.
and they're like, where are they gone? And they're sort of like looking behind as they do, poof, and it just walks like right off the skull because it's quite loose flesh. Like, to not get too much into it, but it's quite loose, and so it just goes boom and tumbles onto Hummel in front of Frankie and the bear. So the bear, like Frankie and the bear. Now
Frankie the
that's
Bear.
bad.
That sounds like good.
Frankie
That's
the
a good
Bear.
sound. That,
Great
yeah.
band, Frankie the bear. So,
Or
yeah.
like a 1970s like a cartoon, like a
Yeah, Frankie and the bear
Frankie,
going to the
Frankie
park.
and the bear, bear.
Oh yeah, it's like that's exactly right. Yes, so yeah, amazing, fantastic, I love it. So you've only got one left.
Yeah. So
and
I'll take the bonus action to command Cupcake
to attack him.
to go attack the other one.
Do it, attack it.
Okay. Oh, that's a natural 1.
I'm gonna say you're so elated and slightly disgusted by what you've done because
I
it's
just
actually.
go Cupcake, just do your thing.
Do
And
something.
it's like, it does not. What? That's not a command.
What you say doesn't actually come out of words. That's what you want to say, but you're kind of like, do that. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. And they're like, what? I didn't quite get that. So yeah, fine. Good turn though overall. We're back to Guillermo at top of the round. Come on, Guillermo. Just fell this final creature.
That's the plan. Just gonna roll up to it and take my 2 swings.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, with the bite, we've got not very high, 13.
Yep.
Does that hit or not?
Doesn't hit.
So if you
Had a
do have
feeling
the
it wouldn't.
bardic inspiration if you want to use it. You can add a d8 to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will actually. Oh no, you got to announce it beforehand. haven't you?
You've got to announce it beforehand. I'm
Okay,
gonna say like we're doing really well right now.
Yeah.
If
We
we
don't
weren't
play
doing
by the
so well, I'd
rules.
let you have it. We didn't play by the
No,
we just play the rules when it works for us. That's what it is.
No, I will do it properly then for the second one.
Take it.
So for the claws attack, so that's a 10. So no chance.
You have a D6 and a
Um,
D8 you could add to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta add it. Just add it. You just need to get
Yeah,
14.
no, that's with everything added. That's,
Oh, that's
the
with
10.
everything
Really?
added. Oh
Wow.
my god. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and,
so
plus 4 on the attack as well.
wow.
You
That,
did not have the bear necessities.
It's a 2, a 3, and a 1. Yeah.
No,
Oh
not
my
an inspiration.
God.
Not even an inspiration for that. No, that's
Yeah,
just saying. That's just saying bare necessity.
I'm just seeing how far I can push it till you give me disadvantage.
Yeah.
The
Don't
opposite
you
of
worry.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
not particularly effective, bad son. So
No, I'm going to say that you're still recovering from this poison effect.
Yes.
The change in your stature, it's sort of like feeling better. You then aren't quite aware that maybe it's cast at the same time as you're about to take the attack, so you're sort of limited by your like the pain, and then suddenly it disappears. So you're like, oh, I could do more, and you sort of overreach a little bit too much.
Okay.
And you use all the inspiration that you can to try and capture it, but it just goes completely wrong. It's then they're turning it one more go. So this one is in combat still with Hummel. So it's going to take it another barbed tail attack at Hummel. That's a 20 to hit.
I was gonna say, it's
hold
in
on.
combat with Hummel and with Frankie, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to take. I think it's going for Hummel because Hummel's showing the most
I think.
violent prowess. You gonna take a? You gonna do something?
Yeah, I was
Cutting
deciding
words?
whether to use an. I don't have cutting words,
Okay.
but I am wondering whether or not to use a luck point on it.
Want me to re-roll it?
If we could say that Cupcake got there in time, then Cupcake could impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
I was gonna say,
No,
I was
not
gonna,
after such a terrible. What if you
No,
had
go on.
a good
I'll
chat?
I'll
no,
take
well,
the hit.
isn't because Frankie's in combat as well, so wouldn't it be disadvantage?
I don't think you cause disadvantage
No,
unless
you
you're
don't.
unless you tell me specifically you're
No,
flanking.
there's no.
then
I'm
I will play flanking rules, but
Flanking, yeah.
if you tell me specifically, then I'll play that.
Yeah, because
Nah.
we're not playing on a map. You kind of have to announce that that's the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah,
don't you?
exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to waste the luck. I'm going to take the hit. Go on.
Okay. Well, it's a 4 damage total.
Okay.
But I need that DC 13 Constitution save.
That's fine. Just let me knock the damage off. So that's fine. I am a stout halfling.
Mhm.
So if it's a poison effect, I get advantage, I believe.
Fine. Perfect.
do.
Yep. Yep. So take advantage on that roll.
So let's use this big chunky boy. Let's hear. So I've got a 16 plus.
Yeah, fine.
What was
You're
the
fine.
stat?
13
That's
is the 13 you hit to match. Okay, fine. So that is their turn. Hummel, it's your go.
fine. Cool.
Straight away.
Yeah, Hummel's just gonna try and run him through. I think.
You haven't got a lot to do. You haven't got a lot to do.
Yeah. Oh no, he's. Oh, I've got a D6. I'll add the D6. Give me a 6. That's better. That's probably might be a hit. 7 plus 9, 16.
Hits. It's only 14.
Lovely.
14 was the AC. No, not high AC.
Lovely for 10 points of piercing damage.
Piercing damage.
That is what you needed. Was 10
Yeah!
points. So
Very nice.
how do you I need my own saying. I haven't got my own saying. How do you describe your kill?
Yeah.
Describe your chaos, Jason.
There's a slogan for a
Don't
t-shirt.
Dragons.
So just in
Chuck
case.
dragons
Just-
in there. Duel.
Yeah.
Duel.
I think it's going to be, he's basically been fencing with swine, swinging it around. He's just managed to, he's just take a hit. And as the tail stinger came round and hit him, basically he's just kind of whipped his sword around. So he took the hit on purpose. It's hit him on the chest as he's just swiped down and just lopped its tail off, and
Oh
he
yeah.
bleeds out.
I like that. It bleeds out. Yeah, okay. I like that. That's good. Because, as I said, it was pretty much, it's the one that's got the cave. And it's not the one with the cave and phase, that was the boulder. But this one, it's the one that got the cut on its side there. So it was already slightly bleeding out. You then cut this tail off as it's like swung round towards you. And you sort of slice it off. And it sort of falls out. And as it does, it just sort of like, and sort of like starts rotting. You notice that these bodies sort of collapse. And then they start to just melt. Like into like a black puddle that sort of bubbles. So they sort of like go down and they sort of fester for a bit, and it's like rapid decomposition until it's like it just like bubbles, black ichor, and then it seeps back into the ground, and then they're just gone, and it's lovely. Yeah, and those flies that were around them sort of like buzz out and away and disappear off into the distance.
Carrie is full on gonna lean down and sort of like swipe a finger through it, and it's just kind of like.
Oh, please tell me you taste it.
Oh, she would.
Yeah, go on. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Non-nat 20.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you're fine. You taste it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's something really wrong with that. And even in the taste of it, it sparks that sense of chaos again within you. You feel a little bit. It's like rubbing something into your gums. I don't know. That's a bad. I'm gonna cut that. Let's cut that. You just taste, and it doesn't taste right, and you're just like, it's a bit too exhilarating, but it's also like disgusting, and you feel that sort of gag reflex, and you're like, maybe I won't taste that.
Yeah.
If you
Or
bottled
maybe
it,
try and like hide it a little bit and just turn to Frankie and be like, "Hey Frankie, it tastes kind of good."
oh no.
Yeah, that's a great, my dear, but I think I'll stick with my rations. Thank you very much. And yeah.
Would make you, I'd say, as an artificer, you'd have alchemical training and some knowledge. You'd know that this could make a very effective poison if you wanted to make it into something. And also you could, and so something to put on blades and stuff. It's very powerful. Demonica is a powerful artifact, so it's quite well known. I think you would know that from your studies. But you've never probably tasted it. You've always probably thought, I want to see what it tastes like. I've always heard about Demonica. So like,
kind of like, I think the analogy you were looking for is kind of like when you lick a battery. Is that what you mean? When it, when it kind
little
of,
fuzz,
that thing
but
I do
also
all the
you know
time.
it's not a good idea. Yeah.
It sounded more like ouzo to me.
Ouzo.
Ouzo.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think technically I don't actually have anything that I could collect it in.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, it sort of disappears. You have to be very quick with it. Because
Yeah.
it just starts to do... I mean, you've got a couple of turns. I mean, you'd have enough time to do it, but you'd have to be sort of preparing yourself for it.
Yeah, I don't have any like alchemist supplies or anything, so I don't think there's anything I realistically could collect it in, unless I put it in my water skin. Recipe for disaster
Yes.
when Carrie is.
I really want to keep
She's
this.
not that dumb.
But you could, like, you know, I think you might even know if you just, like, dipped a blade in it or something like that, you could gain some benefits from it. But anyway, it's done now. It's gone. But
It's
you
gone.
might be
I did
aware.
that too much.
Yeah. So yeah, you sort of settle. It all sorts of settles around you. You've had your first sort of experience of what the abyss can feed to you. These weird, crazy monsters that seem quite excited by combat. But yeah, Brian sort of like comes out of this sort of trance, and you feel that sort of essence of this sort of like whatever he was offering to you sort of dissipate now. It sort of just goes away. So you no longer get one of those bless. Basically, just goes. And they sort of go, oh well, that was interesting. I'm sure we're going to have more of that to come. Yeah, you all right? Everyone okay? I think I've sorted your sort of boils out there. Yeah, Mo, GG. But everyone else all right?
Excellent.
So
Guillermo has de-wild shaped
Okay.
back into human, back into gift form.
Back into normal shape.
Fine. And he's sort of like brushing at his shoulder as if that would be where the burns are, but there's obviously like nothing there. But that's nasty stuff. Yeah, we're in a bit more trouble than we thought, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're kind of low level as well for this land, so we better be careful. I'm just letting you know. Like, I think I've read some books, and I think they're yeah. If that was a lot for you guys, let's keep moving. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll find a way. I think, as you said, let's move to the center and we'll find something out. But I think we should keep our wits about us.
That sounds a good. But I think maybe you should take point, Brian. Yes, I think I'd feel much more safe with you up ahead.
You sure? Okay.
Jesus.
Right.
you know,
Right.
Frankie, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Yes. All right. Fine. Okay. I can levitate a little bit. I can be a bit higher. I can have a look ahead. I'll do some. I'll have a look around. So yeah. Which way do you want to go? You want to head that way, then down the path towards the trees?
Well, these two party poopers here weren't too pleased to think about meeting the demon lord, so I guess we're heading to the river.
River? Is that where we're going?
Right.
Sure.
Yes, yes. I think that might be that might suffice for now. And get to the river and follow it downstream, maybe.
Seems like a fantastic idea.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. So let's move on. So you start making your way down this path. The path is pretty obvious. It kind of winds between sort of rocky outcrops that come up and stuff. It's there, but it's not there. I mean, it's just literally. Oh, we've lost Will for a moment. Did he disappear?
Yeah, it's fine. There's just some motion going on in the background.
Okay, fine. So you're wondering this path is basically just defined by the rocks themselves, and you're sort of following it as it makes a route-ish towards this swamp, basically, and you're sort of heading then. You sort of track a little bit to the right-hand side of it as you're moving, because if you're looking at this diamond shape, the river sort of comes in on this side and then disappears into the fortress, basically. And so if you sort of move towards the right-hand side, it sort of makes sense to you. But once you hit, as it's gone from dry sort of desert, arid sort of like texture, the air starts to become more humid as you're moving along. And the air itself in the sky is pretty empty, but you can see as you're getting closer to this outcrop, you can see more activity in the sky. Let's just take a perception check from everyone for like the first bit of travel that you make as you get down towards the swamp area and see what you see. Are you doing this stealthily? Or are you just doing this like by just walking? Are you just walking? Are you trying to hide?
I think based on Brian's what he said about it being a lot of things, I guess we could try and go stealthily if everybody else would agree.
I think Frankie's
Yeah, I think that's
natural.
reasonable.
Yeah, Frankie's natural sort of stance is to try and sort of blend in the background whenever we're walking along. So I think she'd definitely be sort of trying to stealth this, especially with Brian up front as a bit of a patsy for her.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
Okay.
Can we roll that one then?
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
that is 24
yeah.
for Frankie.
Yeah.
Got 19.
Okay. What did you do, Chloe?
I have disadvantage.
Oh.
Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
4. Okay, we've got 2 successes and 1 failure. Yeah. What did you? DM it?
12.
12. Interesting. Brian.
Yeah, my dice rolls have not been hot this session so far.
Brian. So if you sort of like Brian sort of talks to you and goes like, I'm just gonna go. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Oh, I was gonna go invisible, but that'd make it even worse.
We can't follow you if you're invisible.
No, right. Okay, I'm just gonna try and hide best I can. Also, let you know, once we get a little bit closer into this center, we used a bit of magic earlier. I think that's not a good idea as much as possible. Like, if you can try and limit the magic to a necessity, that'd be great. Just letting you know that. Just because things in this realm can get a little bit uppity and knowledgeable about where you are. They can sort of smell it, if you know what I mean. They can sort of sense magic or in essence. So just letting you know that, just as a warning. He rolls. Oh my gosh, Brian, 21. What a man. Hey, Brian then goes. When he does that, he suddenly just shifts into the distance and just disappears into the. Okay, let's go. Right.
I thought you weren't gonna go invisible.
I'm not.
Very cool of Hamilton
I
to
can't
go.
see you.
Very cool of Hamilton to go cut down on magic, you guys, in a party of 4 magic users. But anyway,
It is it's a thing of the abyss. You just got to be aware of it. So, you just sort of like slinks down and goes, okay, I think we should just go rock to rock. I think Frankie, with your high roll and Brian's high roll, they sort of the pair of them together capture Carrie's missteps enough as a group to sort of bring you to like not like be out of sight. You're about to like walk out in front of her into like the bright sunlight, and then suddenly they just grab you and sort of pull you back in. But you sort of make your way in like between the rocks until you get to the tree line. However, so you finally make your way there, and as I said, it's pretty quiet in the air. It's probably only about 30 minutes until you start to hit the edge of this sort of like swampy forest. The ground starts to get soggy, the air starts to get humid. That colour of goes from redder to brown again, and as I said, it's those sort of greeny edges, and then suddenly you're in this canopy, and that sort of sounds of the swamp and that sort of edge of the thing, sort of like that sort of sloshing of water. The water is grey, and green. You're not. Brian looks at it a little bit questioningly at first, going like before you step in, saying, "Just wait. Don't think it's what I think it is. Think it's okay, but just don't drink it. Just don't drink it, Adam. Just probably not a good idea. But I don't think it's like gonna ruin your memories or anything like that. So it's probably fine."
This
But
one
let's-
time I was in a forest, much like this, and there was a river that went through it, and if you fell into it, it magically just made you fall asleep.
That's not good. That's not good. This, if we
You
go in
just
that river
die.
going into there, you'll lose all your memories. Like everything. So that's not good either. Like if you're a clever magic person, you will forget all your magic and all that stuff. I can levitate, so it's fine. And he just levitates over the water. I'm sure you'll be okay
Okay.
walking in it though. This is fine. This is not that, I don't think. Probably has essences of it, but I'm sure it'll be alright.
Why don't I trust you, Brian?
I'm a trustworthy person.
Is
I'm
there
Sure about that?
no
No.
way of jumping over it, or like jumping,
You could climb into the trees.
climbing
there are
into some trees and things
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not sure about it.
I'm fully just gonna misty step across to the other side.
You're now in a swamp, so like
Oh,
it is
right.
just water. Like beyond, from now you've entered into this canopy. There is you know that this probably stretches another mile until you're at the river, maybe.
Ugh.
But you've done it's a very short. You're at the edge of this thing. You've walked down this sort of thing for about 30 minutes. So let's say half a mile's distance that you've sort of slunk from these rocks to rocks, and then you've got to this this edge of this watery sort of expanse.
Can I
Yeah.
can I like do an Arcana check, like on the water? I'm not gonna touch it because I don't
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, do it.
Not that I don't think he's telling the truth.
No, he just might not know.
He might not know.
Yeah, he's just assuming.
It's a 18.
80. You have a look at it and you think Brian may not be as exactly correct as he thinks he might be, which is that yes, it probably isn't got the same properties, but it's probably got. You think there's something wrong with this water and you're not quite sure what it is. Is it purely just a poison? Is it purely like if you drink it, but maybe if you have sores or cuts or stuff like that, it might be an issue. So yeah, I'm gonna say when you hit this edge, whilst you're doing that, can you just all make a little perception check based on what you can see around you?
Oh,
The worst
Yeah.
thing about having high passive perception is that
yeah.
I
Fr-
always
Fr-
think
Frankie's
none
very
of them-
distracted. She only got a 5.
That's
Mhm.
a 19.
19.
Maths. 16.
I've got a 24.
24. Okay, 24. Right, both 19 and above, so Guillermo and Hummel. Guillermo, you will see this, but Hummel first, then you start hearing you're hearing the noises as you get close to this sort of like this sort of swampy area, and it's like buzzing, and you're hearing like cricket sounds and the sort of like toad sort of sounds as well as and all these sort of sounds. But you hear snaps of a twig, and clearly, but it's very subtle. But you can hear it with your sort of like keen senses. Guillermo, you also hear the snap of a twig, but you see movement on one of these sort of branches that sort of like seems to be like they've just sort of moved. You see a figure move into the forest as well with you, as if they've come from behind a rock that you were on the other side of. They've sort of like, this object sort of like fluttered in and then jumped onto a branch, not onto the water. And you've seen it do that. And then you haven't seen it move since. It's sort of like you sense with a 24 that it's sort of waiting.
Okay.
That's all I'd say.
I heard something.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
don't think we're alone.
Yeah, I think I've seen some movement as well. People feel like another fight.
Haha, always.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, I wish I knew too.
How loud are you speaking? I'm gonna in a second.
Like
I mean, if they've said they've heard something, probably not that loud.
hush,
Not that loud?
hush tones, not
Hush
like
tones.
whispering, but hush tones.
Yeah.
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 Okay, I think you hear I'm gonna keep your perceptions up that you hear like another like flitter in that sort of thing, like, oh shit. You hear like an oh shit sound. Like, oh shit.
Ryan, is that you?
Wait, me? No. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I mean, am I ready for something? Do I need to fight? I'm not a fighter. What do you want me to do?
I thought you said something.
I didn't say anything.
Something's following us.
What am I from?
I can hear something around here following us.
Where? Which way? Yeah. He's looking around, like behind me? Is it there? No. Where am I going? Well, sort it out then. What do you want me to do?
I think yeah,
Sorry, go on.
Hummel will take just a step towards that sound. Just a
Right.
step. He's not going up to it, so he's just going to take a step, so that he's and then be like,
Classic. Okay. You
"Hello there.
All right.
Introduce yourself."
You do that, and you hear a flutter, and you hear, "Oh fuck!" And then it goes boom, 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 and something falls out, and then like, oh wait, I need to make another save. Jesus Christ! Right, unfortunate. You see it then like leap, and you see this sort of like figure sort of like fall out of a tree, see that it's about to hit the water, and then bounce off with these sort of quite hooven legs, and then jump in and go, "Hello, oh, hello." And it's this
Hi.
tiefling figure is in front of you that sort of like jumps down and goes, "Yes, okay, right, oh, I've got to get the voice right. Get the voice right. Hello, hi.
Huh?
Good morrow,
What are
friend.
you doing?
Oh, hello, right, I'm Zoe. Hey, what's going on? You
Hi.
found me. I was following you. You fighters! Yes. Yes?
Actually, none of us are a fighter.
I don't think any of us
well,
are
Frankie
actually
was.
fighters.
But you fight you back there, you fight the people. Yes. Yes.
The what?
Yeah,
You
we
need a
did.
bit more-
Yeah, so I was following you, and I was hoping that you could help me, fight, because I need to fight, because I forget what they were doing. They were talking about the thing, they were like, I know something about the demon. It's gone. Yes.
You know something about the demon?
Yes, that's it. I know the true name of the demon. Yes.
And how exactly would that help us? And well, Frankie's done.
I don't know, but it's a bird.
Frankie's got a boar taught. She's she's not trusting this tiefling whatsoever.
Well, I've been here for a very long time, and I forget. This is the problem. I've been here too long, and things have become broken. Yes, shut up. Okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, I don't mind. It's fine. They don't trust them. Yeah, I trust them. They're talking to no one. I thought I look into the brain of the demon lord to find its true name. When I do that, it ruined my brain so much that I can't remember things properly.
Then why did you do it?
Why did I do it? I did it because I want to get into the vault. In the vault, there's good shit. There's really good shit that I can take, and I can something that I can do.
The vault? No, that's you have my attention.
Yes, they got a vault. They got their demon. They have power, super power of power, and a thing that can bring destruction over lands and people. But I don't want to do that. But it got things in there. I wanted one thing. It gave me knowledge beyond all my creation. I get learn things that I didn't learn anywhere. And I've come here, and the code for the vault is the name, the true name.
Can I do an insight check on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to also do an insight check.
That's a 15.
Non-nat 20.
Oh, well.
Wait, no, 22.
22. Okay, they what are you asking? What is you trying to insight on them? What are you trying to figure out of them?
I want to know if they know, like, if what they are saying is like, well, I guess there's no way to know if what they're saying is correct or whether they're just confused.
But
or
yeah,
they seem confused.
Yeah,
They're
I
very-
think for me,
yeah, so
it's
they're
knowing
clearly...
that as Frankie's a bit of a bullshitter, it's kind of knowing, is this another bullshitter, or
No,
does this person believe
okay.
what they're saying?
They very much believe what they're saying, but they're struggling so hard to get to a knowledge point that you're not. They can't quite communicate what they're trying to say. They're struggling with that because they've seen. So yeah, I'd say that they believe what they're talking about, but they're being genuine with their misunderstanding of what's going on.
Right. Okay.
Also, I'm trying to do a Russian accent, but I keep failing. So I'm just trying to say.
So
I'm trying to do it.
Excellent. I mean, I didn't bother rolling insight because Hummel's very much it's fortune. You know, like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So he's just like, well, just so happens that I have some experience of getting into vaults. Perhaps we can come to some kind of arrangement and help each other.
You're very good. Yes. Right,
I just
we're going
wanna
to
check.
fight, and I'm going to take down that stupid. I had the name. Top of my tongue.
Whose name?
Oh, it would come to me. If someone could, I need. There is thing. He has these things in there that can undo. We can undo. If we can undo the spell of the river. I drank the water. It was not a good idea. I was a bit thirsty. I've been there for a long time. Yes, I know. I shouldn't tell them about the river. I know, but we could chuck them in it. I know we could chuck them in it, but I don't think that's a good idea. We could use them. They could be useful. Yes. Okay.
Zoe, was
Yes. Yes.
it? Maybe. I don't know who you're talking to, but I mean, maybe just talk to us for a second.
Oh, they're okay.
Yeah.
They're really
I know.
helpful.
I'm sure they're fine. I would very much like to not be thrown in the river.
Oh, I would never do.
No, I'm sure you wouldn't. But just keep that in mind.
Okay. Yes. Right. Anyway, yes, I should. Yes, Zoe. Your names are. What's your names? Quickly. What's your names? Before we become best of friends and we take down his name.
So you want? I just want to check before we give you our personal information like our names.
They're very powerful.
You want us to fight the demon lord whose name you can't remember, so that you can remember their name.
No.
So you can unlock a vault.
No. Yes. No. Yes.
Well,
Yes,
which is it?
Yes. No. He has things that are powerful artifacts that can help me undo the brain thing with my brain in here.
But if
and
they're in the
fix it.
vaults,
you
need
no,
the name.
and then I can know the name. So he'll have things that can undo the sticks thing somewhere. I don't know. Alchemy, very powerful, super powerful. Demon Lord, he has things that can do things. We're gonna go in there. We steal the alchemy. Fix my brain. Oh, you can fix my brain. Points to Brian. What's going on? And then
Can you?
and then I remember name. We go in the vault. I get the helm of forbidden knowledge. Yes, and I put it on, and I know everything about everything, and I can then, and with the name, I can control the Lord. Because when you know their true name, that's why I go mad. It's amazing. Right, we go. Yes, now. Bye. Your name is. I forget your name.
I'm still struggling to understand what's in it for us.
The
Right.
helm
Power.
of forbidden knowledge.
Well, I get the helm. You get all the other shit. There's good shit in there.
What It's
He's a demon lord, powered from magical artifacts of all of things. I could do anything. You know. I know there's an axe that can split the realms in two, and it can cause damage that burns. If you cut person in half, then one half is in the another plane. It's crazy. I tell you, it's amazing.
I
sounds
think we've
real
already
crazy.
experienced that.
No, okay, you're not cool about that? Well, I'm sure there's other cool shit. I can think of some stuff. But I think that axe is pretty cool. That's the only thing I really know, actually. But I'm sure he's got other things. Like, he's a bit weird. They're all weird.
Okay.
I mean, they're demon lords. What do you want?
Well, I like you.
Yay.
My name is Carrie.
Daddy.
Carrie.
You're a centaur! Awesome!
I am. I very much like the sound of this helm of forbidden knowledge. You think you might, if we agree to do this thing, you might let, us have a little gander at it, a little go at it, and then you can have it after.
Yes, I'm very fan. this. I think that'll be good.
Okay.
Yes, we agree.
And I think we have a deal if my party members are agreeable.
It seems, in all fairness, that we don't really have an alternative. We can't carry
Well,
on.
there's that.
We can't go through this swamp.
Yes, yes, I think there's a
You need
possibility
to go through some.
of
I
treasure.
have boats. I have boats.
You
I
have
have
a
a
boat.
boat.
You,
Yes.
You
And
had
there we
you
are.
had a boat all
I
this
have a
time.
boat. I left it somewhere. I will remember where it is.
Yes, because you forgot. Yes.
I can find
Of
it.
course.
I-
Of course you
We
did.
could follow tracks. Maybe.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, do you?
Yep, I think we have an arrangement.
Deal. Good. And why don't we leave it there for today?
Ah,
I just wanted you to meet Zoe because I
Yay.
like Zoe. She's a fun character.
And I just
She is very
finally got
fun.
the accent down.
Yeah, I
took
know.
the
And
whole night,
mine's
but I got
terrible.
there.
I've got that went into all different ranges of Eastern European and Russian. I had it practiced, but then after doing a New Zealand accent for Brian, it's gone. But I was trying to do, I don't know. Yeah, no, but they've got, yeah, I think they're fun. They've got a good backstory. I'm
Cool.
interested in them. I like Zoe. She's my favourite. And I didn't describe them as well. So I said they're a tiefling. They've got more like fawn-like legs than most tieflings. They're more like it's more like a planar tiefling if you know more about them. So they've just got more of their sort of essence of their sort of like bloodline, and got like sort of curling horns, quite a deep like a deep sort of like pinky skin, sort of like a deep pink, like a fuchsia more than like red, sort of like a fuchsia-y color, but it's sort of like dark fuchsia. I can't really describe it better there, but it's definitely pink, not red, you know, more like purpling coloring. And
Like maybe that kind of. Oh, it's gonna be.
yeah, it's
showing
sort of
red.
that sort of color.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
It looks
sort of
more
tone.
pinky purple to me, but on the camera it's very red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit, yeah, it's sort of like a pinky purple, but sort of, yeah. And yeah, and they've got like violet eyes, like very violet eyes, and yeah, but quite an innocent looking face. They're quite like sort of like person next door sort of face, as they would say.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, we can catch everyone where you find everyone. So there is Chloe. You can find at Chloe _ the flow all around the internet. You do Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
You do Deck of Many Aces. You do lots of other things. You do acting. You do combat. Everything.
I don't need to do the spiel. You've got it.
Exactly. Yeah. There's Chris. He does nothing.
This is very little compared to Chloe. Yes.
But
this
Chris
is just
not-
the start of a long and beautiful
Yeah,
career.
exactly.
That's all it
This
is.
is your
Exactly.
You're there day
That's it,
one.
yes.
In years' time, you can be like, I'm an OG Chris
yes.
fan.
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
there at the
exactly.
Yeah.
beginning.
You were there at the beginning. You were the original fan base. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
I
It's us,
I worked with Chris before.
Before he was famous, actually.
And then yeah, and also Goblin Paint Job on Instagram.
Coming up.
Borough
Borough, yeah, Borough underscore
that there?
brick, yeah.
underscore brick road.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I got told off saying borrow brick road so much, so I'm trying.
Is it not Burry?
It's not borough.
Borough.
It's borough.
Yeah.
Borough.
Although how you pronounce it is probably better how it's actually spelled. So yes, it's
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking like yellow borough.
yeah, that's
brick
exactly
road,
what
fine.
that's the pun. That is the pun. Yellow brick road,
Exactly,
Borough brick
yeah.
road. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. And then Will would be next on the screen. So Will Rendezvous with Destiny podcast. You can also be seen on other places like Deck of Many Aces sometimes. Well, you're on there as well. Is that right?
Not yet. Maybe
Not
in the
yet.
future.
you
For
were.
Rendezvous with Destiny, that's at @RWD_pod on Twitter.
Yes. There you go. And last but not least, with a lot of things to add, and I can't remember all of them. Luke at Duderoonie on
That's
Twitter. You do lots of things as well.
I'm
don't you?
trying to get out there. Yeah, so you can check out the back catalogue of the Dice and Die D&D show. So that's at Show D&D, at Show D&D, and upcoming Pathfinder podcast it's coming out soon. It's a cut from the Chronicles, which is at CFT Chronicles. Cut from the CFT Chronicles, or at Duel Rooney if you want to follow the most boring Twitter account.
You like Pathfinder, Luke?
Yeah,
right.
I know.
All right, and we're ending the show before we get into it. Don't mention the glass cannon. Don't mention the glass cannon. And everyone, thank you very much, everyone, for watching and everyone for playing. And we will see you next week and see what happens with Zoe and the rest of the Abyss. Will they escape? Who knows? Next time on Dragon's Duel. Bye.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.